to I came down here, years ago, and I think being up there was a huge influence on me, hip hop wise. You know what I mean? I got to see got to grow up during that era where I saw a lot of the a lot of the old school dudes that we listen to today that we came up on. Got to see it firsthand. So
Right. What about your self-confidence?
Well, we kind of resided kind of close. I was born in Philly, grew up there, and then when I got a little bit older, we moved like right outside the city, and so we got that East Coast kind of connection. Of course, my area, New York, we always got everything like first. Obviously New York maybe number one, but like Philly was right there, so. We always put on to all like the new shit coming out back in the '90s, and it just really shaped me, as to who I am today, like with the music, just from that era, growing up. So definitely Philly. Definitely grateful. My father's from Philly, so definitely grateful I could come up in that city like that with all that history as well, and just be embraced with the hip hop too.
Right. We're not going to get up just yet to where you guys meet, so keep that in mind when I'm asking these questions. I'm going to ask you about how you guys met, but can you take us back to a day in life as a teenager, Rashad, growing up?
I would say obviously school, coming home, doing some homework, obviously, and I used to I used to watch a lot of music videos. There was this program I used to watch besides Rap City, but there was a program called Video Soul I used to watch on BET
Yeah.
years ago. What else? I used to watch Ralph McDaniels. I used to tune into him every once in a while. Some Yo MTV Raps. And then the typical stuff, watching some kung fu flicks, you know, some cartoons, all that stuff. Yeah, playing some basketball. So had a lot of different activities going on.
Yeah. How about your
Everything legal
self-confidence?
though.
Everything
Yeah,
legal.
I was gonna say, Rashad, that sounds real basic. That sounds boring.
Yeah.
No, I was just joking. Like I said, like coming up in Philly in the '90s, basically around '94, me and my brother, man, we started. He got into DJing, and then that transitioned into starting to make beats at like a low level, but between that and digging for samples, listening to original samples, like we just got real immersed into the music, into the culture. So sure, I did all that kind of stuff Rashad was saying, but like tying it back to hip hop, I could say during that early period in the '90s, like I got introduced to the actual creating part, and it's been going ever since. So it's been a while.
Can you speak on some of your earlier influences? Who were influencing you, Rashad, before you got into music? Who were some of the musicians, artists that you were listening to?
I would say, well, my father was a DJ, so my pops is from Trinidad, so he used to play a lot of soca, and but besides that, he would play like old R&B, like Stephanie Mills. He would play, some Patrice Rushen. He used to listen to a lot of jazz, and he had some turntables in his basement, and but yeah, he used to play a lot of that stuff. And then as I got older, I started getting into, let me see. I remember my cousin introduced me to Wu-Tang. And well, first he asked me if I knew how to freestyle. I didn't know how to freestyle. And then he asked me if I heard of Wu-Tang at the time. And I never heard of Wu-Tang. So we went to his brother's basement and we started freestyling. He let me hear some Wu-Tang. And I was like, damn, you know what? I might have to buy this on tape. And so I think that was like the first tape I had on cassette. And the first joint that played was Bring the Ruckus. And, my grandma, she was like in the church and all that. When I played that joint, I was in her room. She wasn't around. But when I heard like you know, the rock, like when RZA came on, like bring the mother African rockers. I was like, oh damn, yeah, it's a rap. Like, you know, I mean, I'm definitely going to hell now. So, so yeah, man, it started from there, and then as far as artists, I gotta say Wu. I gotta say Nas definitely. Who else? Rakim. Even though I was obviously I was born in the '80s, but yeah, Rakim had an influence. KRS, Tribe, definitely De La Soul. My cousin used to love De La Soul, so he exposed me to De La Soul, and yeah, I would say those are the top artists. Um, and then R&B, you know, I used to listen to a lot of R&B too. But yeah, those are the main artists.
About your self-confidence?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit older than Rashad, so you know my tastes go back a little bit before that. I mean, like coming up, I'd say like EPMD, Big Daddy Kane. Um, Damn, there's so many people. I was really into the Artifacts. Um, Damn, I'm drawing a blank.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, all the good stuff. You know, everything that came out on Beat Nuts, everything that came out, like Tribe, everything that came out was just like on point, just about. Because you didn't get to hear
Yeah,
the shit that wasn't on the major or the independent major label. It just wasn't out. So you only heard kind of like the best of the best. Because if the label was going to push it, they were like, okay, this is legit, it's co-signed, whatever. Now the audience gets to hear it. So it was almost as if everything was like scrubbed, clean. Okay, here it is. And you're like, wow, this is dope. This is dope. This is dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, where today, there's no filter. It's just like, here, listen to everything, you know? So,
Right. Can you take us back to how you guys got involved with music? We'll start with you, Rashad.
I got involved through originally being introduced to freestyling, and from there, I would say I started to dabble a little bit with writing. I think, you know, with me, it was I was just so heavily influenced and like motivated, not necessarily to make music at first, because I was just I fell in love with it. You know, like I would I don't know what it was like. You know, back then, when radio played certain tracks, it was kind of like an event. Like if the DJ, you know, I used to listen to a lot of Flex and you know, Marley Marl and Pete Rock, and when they would play joints, it would be like an event, like a boxing match or something. Like New York City, stand up, this joint, and like drop bombs on tracks, and it was a big thing. You know, it was really theatrical, and it was just the energy that came with it. You know, when I watched videos, it was just a lot of energy that came with it, and so I the production was great, and I was influenced by that. And then like I said, it started with freestyling, and then I think, like I said, I was making tapes for myself, so I wasn't really rapping yet. I just started making mixtapes, and I was like addicted to mixtapes and getting newest joints and buying the newest tapes or whatever. And then eventually, I started writing, and then I would tape myself. I didn't have any studio equipment, you know. I'm in my grandmother's house, so I think I had like she had a tape recorder, like a not, you know, like a little damn, what was the name of the it was a brand of cassette players at the time. I forgot the joint. I think it started with an A. Iowa. It was,
yeah.
yeah, Iowa. And then
Okay.
we had some other joints, and then, you know, Maxell tapes and all that, and TDKs. So I would record myself like over the speaker, and be like, yo, you know, try to spit something, whatever. And yeah, it started from there. And then eventually I got access to some studio equipment. We started rapping over instrumentals, things like that. I didn't have production at the time. And yeah, that's how it all started for me. I just kept writing throughout the years.
About your self-confidence?
Like I said, you know, I mean, I can't remember exact years, literally around like 93, 94. My brother got into DJ and he bought some, we were working down the shore and they had a DJ at the restaurant we worked at, like on the deck. And like my brother got like real like mesmerized into the whole process of the turntable, and so he got some Tech 12s. Actually, not initially, but he got some turntables at the end of the summer, and he like literally picked up on DJing, like cutting and scratching, like as if he had been doing it like for years. Like he was a natural, and you know I dabbled with it. I wasn't nearly as good, but you know the next transition, like most great DJs slash producers will say, is DJ production. You know, so it just so happened that he also had a like a 12-second sampler, and he started making some beats on it. And you know, one night I remember, I'll never forget, I was in my room and I heard this beat that he was playing. And I came out of my room, I'm like, I was like, how'd you make that? I was like, damn, it's just sick. I was like, yo, I gotta get into this. Like, I was like, that sounds like my lane right here. Like, you lane could be with the turntables, but I want to do these beats. And literally from that point forward, man, I was like, I'm in. So, you know, that's where it all started. But it really was the love for the music, and it was really the love for, you know, the original songs that were sampled. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's where the love came from. Like, wow, look what they took. Look how they did it. You know, and it's like, wow, what appreciation I have for the original first, and then the hip hop because of what they made, and then that just grew into, you know, like just doing it full time. Come around '01 with the, you know, the MPC, and I mean that's, you know, for 20 years now. That's basically, you know, basically it. Oh, yeah. Shout out to my man, Dead Poet, Stefan Urkel, and Old School Rap joining the chat.
No doubt. Did you guys have any earlier groups before meeting each other or earlier projects?
Yo, let me answer this. Just to piggyback.
Yeah,
Yo, Dead Poet, my dude, we kind of grew up together, me and his brother, and him as well. Yo, me and him, a couple times we would record. He would rhyme, and we would record his vocals directly into the MPC because we didn't have no like ill hookup or anything. And then we would like do everything in the MPC, and I still got a couple of those joints. Literally from like '02, we did a couple of joints, and I mean it was fun. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Rashad, like we don't have no studio, but I got the MPC and the turntable. Like, what can we do? We plugged the mic in, you know, it worked, and that was just a good memory, man. Like just using what you have to be creative and try to get something done. But outside of that, no, I never, like Rashad was like the first official dude for me that kind of, he found me actually, thankfully. And there was always artists on the side like, oh, here, this track. But it was never like, I want to build something. You know what I'm saying? Until Rashad came along, I was like, wow. He's the one, because like he's what I envision like an artist is, and who I want to make a like, you know, a product with. So, you know, that's basically, and that was 2011. So it was 10 years after I got the MPC, and now fast forward 10 years, and he's still that dude, even though he's on the low.
Yeah. What about yourself? Did you have any other projects or any groups that you